my screen?
Yep.
Okay.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, welcome everyone. My name is Leela Rhodes and I'll be your moderator today. Thank you so much for joining us here at NetCom Learning, a market leader in promoting lifelong learning, training, and talent development solutions. We are very excited to host today's webinar, What's New in Power Apps and Power Automate? And presenting today's topic is Deepak Lakhotia. Deepak is an MCT, MCSE, and Power BI specialist. He has provided BI solutions and proof of concept on BI capabilities, working with various clients on-site and off-site. Deepak is not only SME in the Power BI area, but also employs all modern social and content sharing methods of staying current so that he can truly help his clients realize ROI on their training investments. Now, please bear in mind that this is just an overview of a very robust topic. We do offer a collection of technical and business courses that can be tailored toward your specific requirements. If you're interested in a further discussion about any of those, you can make an appointment with our learning consultants through our website at www.netcomlearning.com. Today's session is also being recorded, so you will get free access to the recording in the next 24 hours via email. NetCom Learning helps customers build innovative learning organizations by achieving a smarter workforce, adopting change, and driving growth. We do this with our broad catalog of offerings, developing customized learning plans, and our global delivery capabilities. Since 1998, we have been empowering organizations with our managed learning services to help them reach optimal performance results and address challenges. We have 9 practice areas in which we specialize, and they encompass people, process, and technology training. Today's presentation is from the Business Applications practice area. NetCom Learning offers a comprehensive training portfolio for business application courses, and our upcoming classes include various trainings on PL 900, PL 100, PL 200, PL 400, and many more. Also, private training to teams is available, and these learning plans can be customized to the specific needs of that audience. You can also access a variety of business applications marketing assets, such as the free 2-hour training, by clicking on the available webinar handout. And these offerings can also be found with a simple search on our website at www.netcomlearning.com. In this complimentary instructor-led power-packed session, you will learn to create enhanced business solutions to help increase productivity. Our Microsoft 365 expert will take you on an insightful journey to help you understand how to add automation to your business. Now, I just want to give you a quick overview of the logistics before we do get started today. To start with, you have the option to adjust the window size to your liking. You can simply hit the escape key and find the zoom button on the top left corner of your GoToWebinar viewer. Everyone has been muted except for our presenters, but please feel free to submit your questions you have for the presenters in the questions panel, and we will address those at the end of the session today. Also, to get the best out of today's webinar, we've included the slides, courses we've talked about, and marketing assets in the handout section of your GoToWebinar viewer, and you can refer to those to get a better understanding of today's topic. And now I'm going to go ahead and pass the time over to Deepak to present today's topic. Deepak, thank you for joining us. You should be able to share your screen now.
Thank you, Leah. All right. If one of you could please confirm if you're able to see my screen.
Yes, I can. Looks
Perfect.
great.
Thank you for that. Awesome. Yep. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this Power Pack session on what's new in Power Apps and Power Automate. With a little of disclaimer that maybe you have some exposure on Power Apps or Power Automate, and we'll spend the next few minutes talking about what has been newly introduced in these solution areas. So without any further delay, let's get started. Today, we're going to talk about, these are the 8 items that we're going to discuss about. We're going to start off talking about how could you go about creating standalone and native mobile applications using Power Apps. How could you use the Power Apps to basically create an app directly from either an image or a Figma file that exists? How do you go about leveraging the intelligent formula repair in Power FX? How is the new activity drop-down different from how it used to be earlier? There's an improved homepage experience overall for the Power Automate screen, which would let you get to your stuff faster. Then how do you resubmit any failed executions of your flow together rather than basically executing them one by one? And then how can you restore any flow that you've deleted from the UI? And we're going to end off with a quick discussion on what are the different features that are now generally available. Maybe you were using them as a beta version so far, and these features are now generally available. And we're going to end the final discussion here with any questions that you may have. All right, so let's get started. The first one here is how do you create standalone native mobile apps with Power Apps? Now, earlier basically you would have the capability to launch all these mobile applications that your Canvas applications that you create inside the Power Apps mobile application itself. You could not basically go ahead and launch the Power App in itself. And that's different now. Now you could go ahead and basically publish your Canvas application as mobile applications, which could exist in your iOS, Android, any other app store that exists there. Now you could go ahead and provide your own home screen icon, an app name, and the initial sign-in screen as you would like it to be. You can launch that directly into your Canvas application altogether if required. You can also manage your app exclusively with Microsoft Intune policies. Now, there are some details around this feature. First of all, you can distribute this app natively to your app users from directly inside of Microsoft Intune. You can provide your home screen icon as we discussed. You can give it your own app name, customize the initial splash screen that you see on the screen. You could launch this directly inside your Canvas application and manage it with the Microsoft Intune policies. This is something on the right side, if you see on the screen here, something that you could create directly and launch it as an application itself, which could be launched directly from the App Store. Next, and this is something I'm really excited to share with you. You could basically now go ahead and take a piece of paper, draw an app that you would like to, scan it, and have an app pre-prepared for you. So basically, this is where the Express design capability now comes in handy. So you could basically go ahead and use a design file that you've created or any Figma files that you've created that you can scan and have an app pre-created for you. When I talk about pre-creation, it's about how the screens would get generated for you automatically without any efforts. So with the Express design feature, you can design, sketch, any such graphical representation to bring your imagination directly inside of Power Apps. Do note that this is a feature exclusive only for the Canvas application. There are 2 ways in which you could basically leverage this feature. First is app from image. You could create apps from static images, which could be of the extension JPEG, PNG, or image format. You can create your own table inside of Microsoft Dataverse to support the app that you've just created. The other way to basically leverage this feature is directly create an app from Figma. So if you have been using Figma to generate your UI screens and all of that, you could continue using that and have an app pre-created for you. We're going to deep dive into this a little more now. This is how an app from an image would easily be created. For example, on the right side of the screen here, if you see, you have an option basically where you could go ahead and basically a piece of paper where you've written the different things that you would want to and scan it and have an app screen created for you. Something that is not acceptable today is where the background is not white and it's not that clear and so on. Let's review each one of these different requirements right now. First of all, there's a license requirement for this. You need to have a valid Power Apps license to be able to leverage this feature. For the image requirements, the image should be of the extension JPEG or PNG or IMG. The image size should be less than 4 MB, and the image must have a white background. There are some limitations around this, that you can only use it for Canvas apps, as I said earlier, and you can only use one image at a time to create an app. There are some certain components or controls that are supported as of today, which are a button, checkbox, data cards for forms, or your date pickers to select a date, a drop down, an edit form application, the edit form screen itself, a label, radio, the rating control, a slider control, text input, and toggle. So these are the different controls that are supported as of today. So as long as something around that you've drawn on the screen or on your piece of paper, you could basically scan it and have an app pre-created for you. For example, on the right side of the screen here, you know that your app is basically going to create a couple of text boxes, which will host the first name and last name, and a date picker to launch the date, and a drop down to see the time, for example. And again, another drop down to see the number of guests to select from, another drop down for the seating area, and any such other accommodation requirements that are there in form of different checkboxes that or radio buttons that the users could choose from, and a button to confirm their selection or basically go ahead and make a reservation. So you can go ahead and create an app directly by scanning an image. Similar to that, you can also create an app from Figma. So if you have been, and again, this is in preview only at the moment. So again, the requirements for it, that you should have a valid Power Apps license. You should have access to the design file that you've created using Figma. It's obviously, if not you, if somebody else has created it, you have to make sure that you have access to that Figma file. And then the Figma file must be designed using the Figma UI kit only, not in any other way. So basically, when you go ahead and launch the screen to create a Canvas app from Figma, you would see that you would be asked to provide 3 different set of information. First, what is the name of the app that you would want to give? Where does the Figma file reside? And what is the access token that's there? And obviously, you can decide on the format of the Canvas application that you would like it to be in, whether it should be a tablet form factor or the phone form factor. Next, this is something that is really going to help the developers out there, people like you. This is intelligent formula prepared in PowerFX. Now, Power Apps uses AI, the capability to basically save and suggest any fixes that are very common and the errors that we create while writing the formulas, letting us as developers and makers to be more productive than ever before. There are certain feature details around it. So for example, when you're building your apps, you encounter errors in the formula and you end up basically consuming a lot of time trying to really understand what this error is all about. Then go ahead and basically look up for that error on the internet or go through the Microsoft documentation to try and identify how to go about fixing it. You could save all of that time directly because of this feature called Intelligent Formula Repair that has been recently launched. Intelligent Formula Repair will use AI to review the errors in formulas that are there and recommend corrections immediately wherever it's possible directly to the maker. Now, initially, we used to use again, we are now talking about the model-driven application here. When you go about using an activity table inside of a model-driven application and you try to create a new activity, by default, all the different forms of activities would be listed while creating a new activity. Now, with this new feature or new capability on there, it would go ahead and only list down those activities for which you basically have the metadata around that. So anything that you does not include in the app metadata would not be listed in the new activity command anymore. So anything that has been used, has been added to your app in the model-driven app basically are the only ones which would eventually show up while creating a new activity directly inside of a model-driven app. Coming to Power Automate, you have an improved homepage experience. Earlier, the UI was decent for you to go ahead and do the things that you want to do. With this new homepage experience, you could basically get more done. For example, you could easily get started to create a flow where it will go ahead and give you certain suggestions in terms of different flows that you could go about creating. It will give you the guided learning experience material that's available, where you could learn for every level based on the level of user that you are with Power Automate, whether you're a beginner or somebody who's been using Power Automate as a consumer, or somebody who has been working on Power BI as a Power Automate as a developer for a long time. So for each of these, you have these learning modules available that you can leverage to get more hands-on experience with Power Automate. You have features learning paths from Microsoft Learn. There are resources where you could use basically to learn about pricing, how to interact with your community, access the documentation that's provided to you as part of the Power Automate world. And there are some watch how to videos where you could go ahead and see how people would go about creating these different flows that you may want to include as part of your efforts that you're working on. Now, we have all seen these, that you go about creating a Power Automate flow and it fails. Now, again, when it fails, let's say it just fails and you've been working on it for a few times. While development, it's also all okay. Let's say the development went fine, you push it to production, and because one of the services that it was really leveraging or using, it was not working fine, and you have a bunch of flow instances that have failed. Now, in a traditional world, you would go ahead and run all of these individual instances individually. You could go ahead and select a specific instance of the execution of your Power Automate flow which has failed and resubmit it. But again, if as long as there's just there's one or two instances of that, that is okay. But how about if you have like 30, 40 odd different failed instances of your execution of your Power Automate flow? It could get very tedious. And that's where this new feature, new capability is there to help you. We can now resubmit different instances of the execution of failure, basically, of the Power Automate flow. So now you can run all of these in conjunction together. We can basically go ahead and launch multiple failures together now. You don't have to go about running these instances individually anymore. Next is how you go about restoring deleted flows. We've all seen this when you work in Power Automate. You go about creating something, and rather than turning off your Power Automate flow, and you may not even have a backup, you go about deleting those flows, or maybe you've shared it with other people. And while working in a collaborative environment, maybe somebody did not know if this is being executed, or somebody who has been newly introduced to it maybe goes about deleting that particular Power Automate flow. And there are more instances than you would want to be in a situation like that, where you would want to basically restore something that was created. Again, maybe you've worked for a week to create the Power Automate flow. There are a lot of different things, different entities that you came up with when you created a flow, and now it's gone. What you were doing yesterday is you would go ahead and open up a support ticket with Microsoft, where a support personnel from the Microsoft team is going to come ahead and help you try to restore that particular flow by doing the magic behind the scenes on their end. And again, if this happens way too often, you know that there are times that where you would want to go ahead and basically get that flow restored right away if possible. And at the same time, you may don't want to go the route of opening up a support ticket and investing a few hours there. So that's where this new feature is there to help you with that. Now you could go ahead and run PowerShell commands to get the Power Automate flow that you deleted restored. You could go ahead and basically run certain commandlets that you could run and basically identify the flow that you would want to restore and then restore that. Do note that because of the GDPR compliance and everything around that, you could go ahead and only restore a flow which has been deleted within the last 28 days. For example, if you had a flow that was deleted a couple of weeks back, now you would want to restore it, you can do that. But if there's a flow which is more than a month old, you would not be able to restore that in that case. Uh, that being said, you can delete these flows altogether for using PowerShell. But again, just a recommendation from my side, if you do not want a flow and you're not sure if you would need it in the future, it's okay to turn it off. You don't really have to delete it. But say it got deleted by mistake and you would want to go ahead and restore it, this is the way you go about doing it. It's a very simple couple of commands that you would want to go ahead and run. First, identify the flow that you would want to basically restore, and then go ahead and restore that particular Power Automate flow. Again, as I said, it's a two-step process. The first one is basically identify the flow that you want to restore, and the second one is actually restoring the flow that you would want to restore in that situation. Now, these are some of the features that are now generally available. Now, there are a bunch of other features that, apart from what you see here on the list, are also available as of today. First, you could connect to other environments from the Microsoft Dataverse connector. Traditionally, The only capability was that you go ahead and use a Microsoft Dataverse connector and connect to all the tables that are hosted in the same environment in which you have created that flow. Well, now you can do more than that. You can connect to, you have multiple environments in the Power in your Dataverse world where you can have uh, 3, 4 different environments, and you want to connect to a table that exists in a different instance altogether, or different environment altogether. Now you could go ahead and select first the instance that you would want to connect to, and then the table that you would want to fetch either in your Power Automate flow or anywhere else that you would want to. So this connector now supports you to connect to any Microsoft Dataverse instance across different environments that exist in your tenant altogether. Next, you can remove the API request limits through Azure, where if basically there are some limits that are associated with any API request that you place through Microsoft Azure. Now that those limits are removed, you could go ahead and remove those directly from Azure, where you could go ahead and say, okay, I just want to override the default request limit that's being placed. I do not want that. I know that there are going to be many more API calls that I'm going to make eventually to that connector. So you could go ahead and remove that API request limits from Azure. Next, if there are any unmanaged layers altogether in the Power Automate flows, you can inform the makers about that. Okay, there is something that is not being managed altogether in your cloud flow that has been created. You could go ahead and inform the makers about it. You can also undo in the Cloudflow Designer now. It was not there. If you remember, you've created your own flows and you could go ahead and delete something. Now, if you want to do an undo, restore it, that particular, let's say that particular task that you created as part of your flow, anything that any new trigger or action that you added to your flow, you will not be able to revert it back again. I'm talking about yesterday. Now you can. You could go ahead and use this undo feature in the Cloudflow Designer, where you could decide on different things that you did and keep undoing it till the extent it allows you to come back to the state that you really wanted to be in. Something that would really help you as you're working on it. We all make errors. We all make mistakes that we would want to basically come out from and go back to the previous step of where we were designing it. You can do that now. You can use the environment variables in most triggers now. Now, there were triggers that did not support the usage of these environment variables, creating these environment variables altogether, which you can do now. You could go ahead and basically use these environment variables now in most of the triggers that are there. Again, this really comes in handy when you're working on any of these controls, which or any of these different data sources, which has different environments to support. So in those situations, the triggers that did not support the usage of these environment variables earlier, they support them now. And there are many more generally available features that you've been working on today. The whole UI, which has been made generally available, restoring your cloud flows has been made generally available. There are many more features out there. If you go through the documentation, there's a lot that has happened in this quarter altogether around everything that has been released as part of the Power Automate flow. When I say this quarter, not the quarter that we are in, the previous quarter from here. And that is what I had here to discuss in terms of different features that have been released. Do note, I would really encourage each one of you to please try out the feature around using image to create your app. You would see how easy it has become for you now to just basically sketch out something that you would want to create an app on top of, and just go ahead and use the UI, which is a click and through approach to really get to what you're really trying to create. With this brings an end to the discussion that we had. Before we move on to the next slide that I have here, which is around what are the benefits of certification, just to walk you through different things that how leveraging certifications could help you enhance your career further. I would take any questions that you have, and then we'll go to the second presentation that I have for you. Thank you. Any questions, anyone, please, on the chat?
Thank you so much. Yeah, we will get to our question and answer session. But before we do that, we are going to take a quick moment, and we're going to hear from Sagnik. He's our vendor marketing manager, and he's going to introduce our promotions and webinar related courses. Sagnik, are you with us? You can see him on there.
Hey, I'm here.
Hey, awesome. Great.
Okay.
I will make you the presenter. And while he's talking to us, if you want to go ahead and pop your questions into our questions panel for our presenter, that would be awesome.
Thank you. Is my screen visible?
It is.
Great. So I have put together a little briefing about what are the resources that our learners can take advantage of. So we highly appreciate everyone who took out the time and joined us today for this insightful session. This is the handout that you are seeing that on my screen right now. All the participants in today's session have received this handout. It's available in your GoToWebinar portal, and it would also be emailed and shared with you post this event. So look forward to this and go through this little collateral that we have put together for you. A quick run through of what you can expect from this resource. First and foremost is a little bit about us, the learning partner of Microsoft. We are very proud to announce that NetCom Learning has been selected as the winner of the 2022 Microsoft Learning Partner of the Year Award. This is a global recognition wherein we have been selected from over 3,900 nominations from over 100 countries worldwide. And this is just an example of what you are expecting when you are talking and engaging in your upskilling journey with us, NetCom Learning, as the trusted Microsoft partner. So this is an epitome of trust and confidence that our customers have on us, and this is reflected in our recognition from Microsoft. So feel free to explore and learn a bit more about us as we go along. And some more facts about us, right? We have serviced over 80% of the Fortune 1000 companies. We have serviced over 100 plus US military bases, 14,000 plus enterprise accounts, enterprise customers have been supported, having trained over 150,000 professionals. We enjoy 96% recommendation from our customers on an average, and we have an extensive portfolio of more than 1,000 plus certified instructors delivering training on Microsoft. We are an authorized training partner for all the industry-leading IT and business solutions. Microsoft, Cisco, PMI, EC Council, Adobe, AWS, CompTIA, all of these vendors, we are an authorized training partner with all of these solution providers. So when you are engaging with NetCom Learning, you are getting a truly end-to-end upskilling solution provider. We are literally a partner in whichever domain your employees require skilling in. As part of this handout, you'd find the link to today's recording. That is something that you can access from the Access Recording button embedded in your PDFs. We also encourage all of our learners to go through and activate the NetCom 365 Learner Portal. There is a direct link here. I'd also show you on the website from where you can access this. So as a direct benefit and privilege of participating in today's session, all the participants are getting free access to the NetCom 365 Learner Portal. It is an amazing asset if you are really looking forward to go and explore and achieve your skilling objectives when it comes to not only Microsoft, but a cross-vendor upskilling journey. So feel free to log into the NetCom 365 portal go through the wealth of resources that we have available there. A lot of these resources are completely free of cost, so feel free to get started and explore what really resonates with your requirements and interests. And as you feel more confident, or you feel that you want to know more and explore further, feel free to get in touch with us, right? One of our learning executives would happily guide you through the entire learning journey that is the most relevant for you going forward. Let's quickly take a look at some of our standing offers and promotions that we have got going on. So if you are an enterprise, no matter what scale you are, right, whether you are a 5 or 10 people team, or you are a multinational corporation having multiple branches spread across the world, we have a training solution for you. Specifically from the Microsoft perspective, we have the Microsoft Skilling Program, which encompasses the entire Microsoft training portfolio across Azure Security, Microsoft 365, Dynamics 365, and of course, Power Platform. Now, what the solution enables you to do is, this is a one-stop end-to-end upskilling program. So what all you have to do is engage with us, get in touch with one of our learning advisors. We would provide you a free of cost consultation, understanding your particular skilling needs, what projects your team is working on, what kind of job roles and departments you're looking to upskill. And based on your specific focused requirements, we are going to create a highly optimized Microsoft skilling plan that is not limited to a particular product line, but can branch out into related solutions within the Microsoft ecosystem. So if your team is working with the Microsoft 365 suite, and you also have a cloud team who are requiring Azure, you'd find everything under one umbrella. So it really provides a great value for our enterprise customers. We highly encourage you to get in touch with us and explore and know whether the solution is the right fit for you. One of the exclusive benefits that we provide to our enterprise clients is an amazing enterprise discount of up to 80%, along with a wealth of additional perks and benefits like priority support, easy enrollment. We have a state-of-the-art digital enrollment, self-service portal wherein a unique link is created for each individual customer that you can easily share within your own employee ecosystem. And all the learners, they can explore the offerings on their own and enroll themselves without having to go through an L&D person. We take care of everything from the back end, and the leadership and the managers are kept in the loop following the required and due process. So this is a great offering. Feel free to explore and know about this by getting in touch with us. One of the things that our instructor is going to cover is the Microsoft certifications and the value of these certifications. We always encourage, as a standard best practice, that all the learners go through the certification process at the end of their learning journey, because the training gives you the skills, but the certification validates the skills that you have acquired, and it gives you a very clear and transparent picture of where you stand and what was your ROI from the training that you just went through. So certification is really the final stop that validates the entire process of upskilling. And we have a free of cost official Microsoft ebook for all of our participants today. The link is mapped here. Feel free to access this through the handout. And this resource, the win-win of certification, it is a wealth of facts and figures from researches that were conducted by Microsoft in partnership with Pearson and other research agencies who actually brought together the insights into what was the actual impact and ROI of upskilling employees and opting for certifications, not only from the employer's perspective, but also from the employee's perspective. So as the name suggests, it truly is a win-win situation that we try to create, and feel free to go through this and find out if this is the right solution for you. When we are talking about individual learners, the NetCom Plus subscription is the go-to solution that we encourage smaller teams and organizations and individual learners to opt for. The NetCom Plus, it is a 365-day subscription that allows you access to more than 350 official training courses from a plethora of vendors like Microsoft, AWS, Cisco, Lakhotia, and many more. And it includes 60 official Microsoft courses as part of the solution at just a nominal price of $2,999 per learner per year. This gives you that it gives you that support of continuing your learning journey throughout the entire year across solutions, across platforms, across vendors. So it is an incredible offer. And if you have more than 10 learners opting for this, the prices go further down as you unlock the enterprise discounts. The Learning Passport is a flexible team training package that is exclusively designed for the enterprises. So if you are a large enterprise and you have a fixed fiscal budget on training that you want to use and leverage, Learning Passport is your go-to solution. What it allows is, it allows you to park your training funds, your annual training funds beforehand, and it unlocks 4,000 plus official courses, literally the entire official training portfolio that NetCom Learning has across vendors like Microsoft, AWS, Cisco, Autodesk, PMI, EC Council, you name it, you have it. 4,000 plus official courses, and you can train whichever team member that you want, and that it gives you that amazing flexibility. So you can keep leveraging the same fund value across multiple employees, across multiple courses over a period of 12 months. And it increases your training fund value by up to 100%. So feel free to learn more. Feel free to follow the steps here in the following the Learn More CTA that you see in this slide. Get in touch with us, go through our documentation and our the materials that we have, and if you are interested, please get in touch with us. One of our learning consultants would guide you through the solution and help you understand whether this is the right fit for your specific needs. Last but not the least, we do have this slide as part of your handout. This is particularly designed for the learners. So as the Power Platform training journey is, as you are starting out on this journey, or no matter which stage you are as part of the learning process, this maps out the entire Power Platform training portfolio and journey across the Microsoft portfolio of official training. So you'd find all your role-based solutions here mapped on the right-hand side of the slide with the PL 100, 200, 400, 600, and the DA 100. And of course, we have the fundamentals to master the basics. So we highly encourage everyone, if you are just starting out with Power Platform, feel free to go through the PL 900 course. It's a very a simple and a perfect combination of everything that you have to look forward to, and it doesn't have any prerequisites. So anyone, just about anyone, can take this course without having to worry about whether you are prepared to engage and start in your Power Platform training journey. We also have some of our upcoming free master classes mapped here. Feel free to go through these and register for these sessions. These are slightly bigger sessions with 2 hours of runtime, but they also come with the Microsoft official courseware that the particular topic covers. So this is a great benefit for the learners. Feel free to go through this and register yourselves for it. With that, I'd hand it back to you, Leela. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Okay, we will go ahead and jump straight into our question answer session. Let's see. Our first question we have is, if we scan the image, do only the controls get created or the functionality too?
Thank you, Leah. That's a great question there. So right now, you could basically scan it and have all the controls pre-created for you. Obviously, the functionality is something that you will have to go ahead and build it yourself. But whatever controls you will want to place on that screen will be created for you.
Thank you. Okay. Can we plan multiple pages for all the screens of the apps?
Unfortunately, you cannot do that as of now. As of today, you could basically scan a single picture, a single image, and have a one screen app created for you. Initially, you could obviously go ahead and extend it further by adding different screens yourself, adding the controls and so on. But as of today, only a single image is supported.
Wonderful. Let's see. Our next question, with acquisition of Mentis, how do we foresee Power Advisor to look like?
I think this is around questions around Process Advisor, right? So Process Advisor is something that would continue to grow and to help you basically in terms of all the flows that you've created and how basically you can enhance it further to basically see anything that you've been performing manually and would help you automate those tasks for you to make sure that you save your productive hours in performing the actions that you would want to.
Wonderful. And it looks like as of right now, we only have one more question in our panel. Is there a UI available today to restore flows?
As of today, there isn't, and that is where these partial commands that I just spoke about initially would come in handy. Again, these partial commands are very simple. You can just launch the partial basically script and go ahead and run those couple of commands and you should be good to go. But there's no UI available as of today.
Wonderful. And with that, I think all of our questions are gone. Now, I don't know if we covered this before, but I do believe that you had something else to present to us. Is that correct?
That is correct, Leela.
Okay,
Yep. And
well, let
it's
me
going to take
share
a couple of minutes.
screen with you again, and you
Mhm.
should be able to share.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, everyone, just hang in there with me for a couple of more minutes. We're almost done. All right, now that we know about how you could go ahead and basically get started with Power Automate and Power Apps, what's new out there, I would highly encourage everyone here to go on and continue this learning journey with some hands-on labs that are available and get certified by Microsoft. Now, there are a few benefits of the certification, things that you're going to really reap on every day. For example, you can stand out. You get a recognition, and because you have validated your skills, you earn more. Again, these are all based on studies. These numbers that you see on the screen, that 23% of the Microsoft certified technologists earn up to 20% more. So on the base part as well, getting certified really comes in handy. You advance in your career because your employability drastically increases by 49% if you are certified for any of the cloud offerings that is there as part of Microsoft Azure. You can broadcast your certified skills on platforms like LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, email, or anywhere on the internet as well. This is basically letting your network out there know that, okay, you are certified and you're ready for any opportunity that comes there. You get instant employee verification, whatever badges are being issued to you directly by Microsoft. It allows the people who are really reviewing those badges and verify if these are correct or not. And this is about the data that basically, as I said, that you basically are well trained and certified teams are almost 20% more productive than the other stuff because you know your things really well. You know that you've kind of validated those things. The certification exams really test on your learning and make sure that that you've spent enough time in understanding the content, and when you go for the certification exams, you clear those, go ahead, and when you start working on it again, on anything that you're working on, you work better than ever before. All right, these are different courses that you could enroll. Leela has spoken about it earlier. Sagnik to cover it. I'm just going to rush through it. There are fundamental courses that you could enroll, which is the PL 900. You can start from there if you're pretty new to the Power Platform world. But if you are a beginner already and you're just trying to get to know more, you could always go ahead and enroll for any of these courses that you see here, which is PL 100 and PL 200 or PL 400 as well. If you are looking for certification very specific to Power BI, you could go for PL 300. And if you're looking for something which is specific around robotic process automation, you could go for PL 500. Finally, let's say you have been working on Power Apps and the whole Power Platform gamut for quite some time, and you would really want to test your skills as an architect. You could go ahead and go for the expert course that's there and get certified on PL 600. You can grow your business and career with this official Microsoft Power Platform role-based different certifications that are there. You can start with the fundamentals course, go for the associate course or the expert course and get a specific specialty altogether to let the world know out there that you are certified on a Microsoft Power Platform functionality altogether. The trainings that are provided here as part of NetCom learning are instructor-led classroom trainings where we not only cover the content that's out there, but we also talk about the real-world use cases, share our experience with the attendees, and get you as part of the same course here. You also get 180-day free access to the virtual labs that I shared with you. You will have access to the recordings for a year from the day of your training. You will have full access to the learner portal. You get opportunities of free repeats in case if you missed a session, whenever the next session is conducted. If you need a free repeat, you can also enroll for that, and you can experience a 24/7 priority support as well at NetCom. So these are just some facts about Microsoft Certification Renewals. Let's say you have been certified earlier, and some of these certifications only have a validity for a couple of years. In case if they are close to expiration, you could always go and renew these by simply going for the exams that are out there or even answering some questions that are available. Some of these certifications are something that you can easily review by answering a few questions, while for some of these you would still have to go ahead and basically register yourself for an exam, go for an exam, that exam, and that is again a place where we could help you to make sure that you could brush up your skills and go for the certification exam as you would like to. With this, we're through with the content that we wanted to cover with you. So yes, let's get trained and certified. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Well, with that, we are going to go ahead and launch a quick poll to find out how many people might be interested in taking some additional training. In addition to today's webinar, we have a lot of informative webinars coming up. So please go to www.netcomlearning.com/webinars/ to register. We want to thank you all for joining us. If you do come up with any additional questions, please feel free to send them to us at webinar@netcomlearning.com at any time. And we hope that you all found today's webinar to be informative. We look forward to seeing you back here with us very soon. Also, feel free to tell your friends and colleagues about our webinars and other courses. Once again, thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you, Deepak. Thank you, Sagnik, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.